Hello, I'm Mike Fontanopoulos. I'm your academic coach for Springdale Public Schools, and today I wanted to chat with you about how to successfully demonstrate POV from a document in a DBQ. Many times as we go throughout our year in an AP European history or AP World History or AP US History course, we're going to do a DBQ where we're going to analyze a document in a short answer question. And it would be good if we understood maybe the innuendo and the nuance and the tone behind the document. It's good for points, and it certainly does help our understanding of the document. And so that's what this drill is intended to do. So let's hop in here and take a look at that. I've given you a link that you can go into this is from this document that we're going to use specifically is from the 2020 AP World History exam, and it's good practice for anybody that's in the AP US History or AP European History course as well. So you can print that off and take a look at that, and it's there for you to use. So let's go ahead and get started. So being able to explain how or why a person's point of view is relevant to an argument regarding the prompt could be beneficial to your essay writing. And again, this is exactly what it will lend you to some of the analysis points that you're going to get if you were to do this. A good exercise to begin with, for those of you that's never done this before, maybe you're a pre-AP student, or maybe you're taking an AP World History for the first time as a sophomore and you've never done this before. A good exercise is to click on this link right here and to take a look at that. And what this exercise will do is explain to you or show you how everybody's got a different voice and a different point of view. They're going to use the idea of a football game where they have everybody that sees the same thing, yet they have a different way of talking about it. From the fans in the stand to the referees to the kid that catches the winning winning touchdown to the person who threw the winning touchdown to the defensive back that got beat so you see everybody's got a different, or the mom of the student that got beat versus the mom of the student who caught the winning pass. Again, everybody's going to have a different perspective. And if you can start to look at things from that perspective, you're going to really do well on this piece of the DBQ. So here's some questions that might help you as you are looking at a document. You might want to say, why does this doctor or why does this author believe the way he does? Or why, if this person were an emoji, I like that one. All the emojis that go on in our world right now through our phones and through our apps, if this person was an emoji, or if what they're talking about was an emoji, what would that be like? And could you explain that? Is there a history behind the history that you're going through right here as you're reading this? And again, why did this person write this document? I think this is really big for us in the high school ranks, is to why did this writer or this speech take place? Why did this person write this, or why was this recorded in history? It certainly wasn't done to bore you or wear you out in your high school career. It was done specifically for an authentic reason. So maybe if you knew that, maybe then you could interact that with the question and things would go a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get started. You always need a prompt anytime you're looking at a document. And here we're supposed to evaluate the extent to which non-Western elites approaches to modernization. And so let's get in here and kind of look at this. We're going to look at their approach to modernizing. That's what we're really wanting to get involved in, their approach to modernization. So let's get into that and see why they might have that approach. Okay. And let's erase that and let's move on now. So here's our source. Konstantin Pododanov, minister of the Russian Orthodox Church and advisor to Tsar Alexander II or III, Nicholas II, his Reflections of a Russian Statesman, Memoirs, 1898. Easy for me to say. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, but what I really want to focus on is this. I don't know who this guy is, and neither do you, and nobody does really, but we know that he is an advisor to the king of Russia from the Russian Orthodox Church. So that's what we want to really pay attention to. This is the guy that's got the ear of the king, and he represents the church. And he says this to him. He says, It is sad to think that even in Russia, there are men who aspire to the establishment of parliamentism. Think of the date, 1898. Again, what's the history going on behind the history? That our professors glorify representative government. Democracy assumes the capacity of the people to understand the subtleties of political science, but precision of knowledge is attainable only by a few minds, which constitute the aristocracy of the intellect. The masses and their conceptions are vulgar. The duty of the state is to act and ordain. Without a single will, government is inconceivable. Without a single will, government is inconceivable. How can a multitude of men act with one single will? Such conditions inevitably lead to anarchy. So he's basically saying democracy is bad. It leads to anarchy. How can all these people know what's good for them? And how can the masses, they start to act vulgar? Where'd that word vulgar go? The masses and their conceptions are vulgar. There it is. So again, we can go back and we can start answering some of these questions as to why he says what he says. Again, this document is loaded with POV. Some documents are not. And I would suggest to you, you need to get into the habit of maybe trying to figure out when you're forcing something and when you're not. But here I've got a Russian Orthodox Church advisor telling czars, telling the kings of Russia that democracy is bad and we need to keep things the way they've always been. That modernity is being modern is bad. His approach to being modern is not good. So let's get that out of here. Let's go to the next slide. And why does this author believe the way he, well, I think he probably believes this way because this is the way he's always believed. I think he's very hypersensitive. And you can start to answer these questions here. I think you could probably go, is this person an emoji? What would you say he is? I tell you what I think. I think he's worried. I think he's really worried. I don't know how I draw that. But there's my face and I would go squiggly. This guy's worried that, things may be changing in Russia. And of course, 1898, you're not very far away from change. They're, in about 15-year period, they're going to take the, they're going to take the king, Nicholas II. The whole Romanov family is going to be destroyed in the Russian Revolution. So there you go. Is there history behind the history you're reading? And again, the history is the Russians have always, the Russian kings and Russian royalty and monarch systems have always put a strain on the Russian masses. And again, these are people that they don't have a lot of respect for, maybe because they have so many differing nationalities and races throughout Russia. It's a massive country. And there's only so many people who can, this may have started with Peter the Great as he learned and brought, French languages, Western thought to Russia. And there's only so many people that can really, wrap their minds and their arms around this. The rest of y'all just need to get to work. And again, we're talking about the serfs and who the serfs were. Even though they've been emancipated, they still are treated poorly, extremely poorly. So again, what's the history behind the history? And you can start to understand why this guy believes the way he does. And then finally, why this person write this document? He probably wrote this document because he feels insecure. He feels like there are growing numbers of people in Russia, like maybe the learned, like maybe the scholars, the guys in university and things of this nature that feel like maybe, and again, this is the breeding ground for communism. This is the breeding ground for all different kinds of new governments that are being brought in from the West. And this guy feels extremely intimidated by that. And so again, you could pick any one of those, but what you've got to do now is somehow bring that back to the prompt. And so you can't just sit there and just say something and move on and just kind of give a POV drop or just talk about POV for a second. You also have to work it back to the prompt. And the prompt said, what is this man's approach to modernity or to being modern or modernization? So let's go to that next. And I'm going to erase my emoji there. And so this is what it might look like. How would this look like in a paragraph? The advisor to the Russian czar feels intimidated by Western modernization because democratic governments help to separate church and state. This would assist in removing, there's that name I can't pronounce, but you can just copy that part, I guess, from the authority he already has. The church is very important. It's a very important ingredient to Russian history since the Byzantine Empire. He downplays the usefulness of democracy because sharing governing power with citizens of Russia is scary to him. This is why he is hypersensitive, apprehensive towards modern political systems. The new way is contrary to his culture. So there's your answer. And again, any of this would work, but you've got to get that piece in there where it also includes why this fits into the prompt. And that's what this last little bit kind of tries to do. This is why he is hypersensitive towards modern political systems. That's exactly what we're talking about, where he doesn't want to be modern. And again, it's for any one of these myriad of reasons that I put up here, and you could just choose one of those and you'd get your point. But you can't just mention this. I don't know, the Orthodox Church is a very important ingredient to Russian history since the Byzantine Empire, and just walked away. If you just said that and walked away, you're not getting a point because you're not linking it back to the prompt. So again, we always do these drills with the prompt and with what's going on around us and not on an island. We do these with the prompt so that we stay kind of focused in on why this person's saying what he's saying. So there you go. That's a good POV moment that you would see in a DBQ. Hopefully this helps, and hopefully this will help you in the future when you're doing a DBQ or a short answer question with the document, and you've got to maybe demonstrate your ability to squeeze out a little POV there. Be looking for other videos from me in the future. Until then, good luck.